Hi everyone, it's Keely here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's video where we're doing one of the Patreon design challenges. And for this month I asked my patrons to name an ingredient and then I would decide on what product to make with it. Now I put everyone's suggestions into a soapy jug, and the one that came out was from Sherry, who runs Lyric Lane, and you have to go and check out her website. I've left links down below. All of her products are based off of song lyrics and it is so much fun to go and have a look. Now she is based in the US, so if you are over there, go and check it out and show her some support, because what I reveal at the end of this video, she really does deserve a little bit of extra love from us all. So definitely go and check her out, or go and find her on socials and watch her over there as well. Now the ingredient that Sherry wanted me to use was Nettle Extract, and I actually do already use Nettle Extract in a number of my products, but I decided that I was going to add it into a product that I have been making specifically for myself, and that is a sprayable conditioner. Now I'm the sort of person that hates conditioner in my hair. I don't mind shampooing it, but I hate putting conditioner in afterwards. I even hate it when you go to the hair salons, because my hair then just feels so heavy and limp, and I just don't like the feel of it. And generally, if there's conditioner in my hair, I usually have to wash my hair the next day because of that build up, and it just doesn't feel nice. And I sat down thinking about it. I thought maybe what I need is a sprayable conditioner, so I can actually target where I want the spray to go on my hair, and it's only a very fine coating. It doesn't matter how hard you try to make that tiny little pea-sized bit of conditioner in your hand, you do seem to still always put way too much conditioner through the hair. So that's for me personally, having very fine thin hair. So I thought about making a sprayable conditioner to see how it would go, and I've been working on it for a little while and I was pretty happy with the results, so I decided to put the Nettle extract in there because it is so good for the hair. It makes the hair healthy and shiny, helps to repair damage and that sort of thing. So really wanted to put it in there. So that's what we're going to go and make today, is a sprayable conditioner that I've been making for myself. Now at the moment this is not a product that is going to go into my store unless I find there is a demand for sprayable conditioner. I can actually see it being very useful for all the mums and dads out there with children who hate having their hair detangled after bath time, that they can actually sit in the chair and have some conditioner sprayed, and then it will just make it easier for the brush to go through, because this sprayable conditioner can actually be left in the hair. But as I said, at this stage it's not going to be available in my store, but if you are a creator, you can head on over to my Patreon page. The links are down below. You can either join Patreon and you get lots of other information as well, or if you don't want to join Patreon, there is now also an option to buy just the recipes through the Patreon page as well, without committing to a monthly pledge. So if you do want to check that out, I've left links down below, and then you too can make this sprayable conditioner. But rather than keep yakking, let's go and make it. Okay, so we're going to make a small batch of this spray conditioner. So I'm just using my small beakers, and I'm going for my jeweler scale because we've got such small measurements. It'll just make it a lot easier. And the first thing I'm going to do is start to measure out the water phase ingredients. I've got some sodium lactate here, which is a humectant, helping to draw moisture in. Next thing we're going to add in is some cetrimonium chloride, which is a cationic surfactant, and that cationic is really important to this formula so it doesn't pull it apart or break it up. This ingredient helps to smooth the hair particles, which reduces those tangles, and it's also great for dry, damaged hair. I'm now adding in a little bit of vitamin B5 or D-panthenol, and this again helps with hydration of the hair, and it's said to promote hair growth, reduce split ends, and also make the hair look a bit thicker. And then the final part of our water phase is to add in some water, and I like to use distilled water because the process of this gets rid of all the metals and ions and minerals that can be present in water, which can affect the shelf life of your product. I then wrap it up nice and tightly with some BioCling, just to make sure we don't lose any water while we're heating it up. And to make sure of that, I then weigh how much my container weighs, and I always note it down on the top. And now we're going to go and pop it into the water bath. And then while we're waiting that for that to start heating up, we're going to get on to the oil phase. And for that, we're going to add in our oils first. And I'm adding in some argan oil because it's absolutely brilliant for the hair and really helps to moisturize it. Now, it is a luxury oil, so I do have some alternatives in the recipe. And then I'm also adding in some extra virgin olive oil. This has been used for centuries in hair care in many countries, and it is said to help promote hair growth. And once that one's in, I'm then going to add in some jojoba, which is actually a liquid wax and not a oil. And again, it is perfect for hydrating the hair, and it helps to control the natural sebum that our scalp releases, which can help control how much oil and things like that is in the hair. So not only is it great for people who have got dry hair, it's really good for those with oily hair. We're then going to add in our emulsifier, and we're using BTMS 50 for this one. It is a conditioning wax, but it is cationic, which means that you have to be careful with any other ingredients you are adding in, because if you add anything in that's anionic, it's going to split that formula. Now finally, we're going to add in some vitamin E, which is not only good for the hair, but it will protect the oils in this formula so that it has a good long shelf life. Now we're going to go and add both of these into our water bath, and we're going to let it come up to a temperature of 75 to 80 degrees Celsius. Okay, so these have come up to the right temperature. They are sitting at about 77 degrees. So I'm going to turn the heat off, and I'm just going to take them out of the water for now. I will just leave the oil phase in for a second, because what I need to go and do is reweigh this water phase and make sure I haven't lost any. So I'll go and do that, and we'll be back in just a second. Okay, I have lost 1 gram, but I'm not too worried about that, because honestly, when I poured my water in, I actually ended up pouring 3 grams more water in anyway, so I'm not too worried about the fact that I've lost 1 gram. If I had lost a considerable amount, then I would actually top this up with some warm distilled water so we don't drop the temperature of what is in here, and then we have the right amount of water in here to create our product. So just taking the top off, we'll grab our oil out of the larger container. And because I am making a small batch, what I actually find easier to do is to take my water and tip it into the oil phase, because it is so much easier to clean this little cup here than it is an oily cup. Now that I've got the parts combined, I'm going to use my immersion blender, and you do need to use an immersion blender for this part of it to make sure everything combines. I'm going to mix it up, probably for about 20 to 30 second bursts for about a minute to a minute and a half. Now that I've done that, I'm just going to pop my stick blender out of the way. I'm going to put that stick blender into this cup to keep it nice and clean. So I'm going to take some more of my Bio Cling here, just cover this up, because while it is warm it can still evaporate water out, so we don't want to lose any of it. I'm going to cover it up, let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to come back and blend it some more. So this has just been sitting and cooling. Because this is such a small batch, I only needed to give it those 2 pulses or 2 mixes with the stick blender to make sure it all holds together. But once you start making bigger batches, you know, half kilo, a kilo, and even bigger than that, you often have to give this multiple lots of pulses to make sure that everything holds together as it's cooling down. So I'm going to pop my scales on, and we're now going to start adding in our cool down phase items. And the first thing is going to be the Nettle Extract that is going in here. So we'll tear ourselves out, and in the recipe I do give suggestions for other things you can use if you can't get your hands on Nettle Extract, but it's pretty common throughout the world, and it is such a great extract to have in your sort of basic pantry there. We're also going to add in some preservative because this is water-based. So let's pour a bit into my cap. I have said this before in other videos, but when I actually only need small amounts, I always pour it into my cap because I find it easier to control how much I'm free pouring into my container. And then I'm also going to add in some essential oil blend. So let's measure this one out. Just need a teeny tiny bit more. Now you could use those little pipette things to also get these smaller numbers, but some liquids just aren't fluid enough for them, which is why I do like to pour things into the cap. Now that I've got that in there, I'm going to give this a bit of a blitz. Okay, so I've given that a really good pulse to get that mixed in. Just going to clean off my stick blender so we don't lose too much of it now. Going to clean down the sides of my container here just to make sure it's all well and truly combined, and then I'm going to leave it sit here until it's come right down to room temperature. It will thicken up a little bit more than what this is, but it is still thin enough to go into a spray bottle. So I'm going to leave that one there, and then we'll come back and we'll bottle it up soon. Oh, and don't forget to keep this covered while it is still warm, because it's still going to lose any water through evaporation while it's warm. Okay, so this has now come down to room temperature, so I can start to package it up. I always wait until this is down to room temperature so we don't create any condensation in our bottles or jars, which is what leads to problems later on with the shelf life. It has developed a really nice, it's a kind of thickish liquid consistency. It is still fluid enough to pour and spray, but has a really nice feel once it actually goes onto the hair, or even if you spray it on your hands. So let's pour this in here. First of all, I'm just going to pop it onto my scales. I'm going to tear it out just to make sure I do have the correct amount, and then I'm just going to pour this straight in here. There we go. So I have actually made 100 grams, but because it's quite a thick liquid, it doesn't quite hold the 100 grams in here. So it's got about 80 grams in there. So let's now just pop our lid on it. Okay, so there's that one in there. I'm just going to go get another bottle just to put the rest of this into. Okay, so that one's going to be mine. We'll just pop that up there for now. And this is our full bottle. And all I'm going to do is pop my label on here so we know exactly what's in there and what ingredients are in here too. So let's get that wrapped around. Perfect. And then with this one, it's going to take a couple of pumps just to get it to start coming up the nozzle. But once it does start coming, we've got this absolutely beautiful conditioner in there. It's a little bit harder because I've only got 20 grams worth in there, but we've got this beautiful creamy conditioner, which can now be sprayed onto the hair and really help to detangle. This is perfect for young children. Alright, so there is my sprayable conditioner all done up, and I've actually called it Spray and Go conditioner because you can leave it in the hair. It is nice and light and doesn't weigh it down, or you can wash it out if you don't like leaving product in your hair like that as well. But this is fantastic for young children. You know, usually they come out the shower and the hair is all knotted. It is just simply because of the way we're washing with water. But if you can then get them to sit down in a chair and spray the conditioner, you can get that brush through all those knots, and it just makes that job so much easier and more pleasant for everyone. So although I won't be stocking this in my shop anytime soon unless I get a lot of demand for it, if you are a creator, you can always go and check out the Patreon links down below and either join up for Patreon for a lot of other information, or you can actually purchase the recipe separately. Now whenever I do the design challenges, I usually send my patron a part of whatever it is that I have made. So if I make a loaf of soap, my patron gets a bar of that soap, and that's just a way of saying thank you for inspiring me to create a new product. Now with Sherry, I have asked for her address to send this over to her in the US, but she has said to me that because of the cost of postage, what she would like me to do is to go ahead and donate this bottle of conditioner to a local women's shelter or someone who is in just general need of a little bit of pampering. So what I'm going to be doing on behalf of Sherry, and I don't usually discuss this sort of thing on camera, but what I will do on behalf of Sherry is also, because we're saving on shipping, I'll pop in a shampoo to go with it and a soap bar. And we do have a local shop that does do a collection, and they do that women's dignity collection thing where they collect things and put them into handbags and then hand them out to local women's shelters. So I'm going to take those down as a little set, and we'll pop them into their little donation bin so someone can actually enjoy those. So thank you, Sherry, for doing that. I hope you have enjoyed coming along with me as I made the sprayable conditioner. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye.